Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallama ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Okay, everyone, today we're going to be discussing Lesson 5. And in Lesson 5, I'll just give you a quick summary. Inshallah, we'll be talking about the interdental letters. And as you may recall, we're going through the letters category by category according to where the sound originates in the mouth. And the interdental letters are actually 5. So we'll be talking about those. We'll be talking about some nouns that contain these letters, some verbs that contain the letters, and then we'll be giving you some writing practice. So this is just the typical kind of, just like lesson 3 and 4, where we went through the letters and memorized some new vocabulary and just practice on pronouncing these words and writing them and knowing what they mean. Okay, so here we go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, everyone, here we have slide number 8. We're talking about our next letter, Zay, in this 5-letter category of the letters that come from the gums. Okay, our letter is written up here in full, Zay, and here we have our Zay with the short vowels, Z, Zu, Z. Okay. As usual, try to take some time to practice writing these out on these lines. If you can print it, if you can't, no problem. Z, Zu, Z. Now keep in mind that this letter is completely under the line. It's mostly, it's 90% of the letters under the line. Maybe if you start a little bit above the line, that's fine. And the dot, of course, would be above the line. And here is a Z here in the final position or in the middle of a word. Z, Zu, Z. And then we have a couple of nouns here, which you can practice repeating with me. The first one is Zarafa, Zarafa. And that, of course, as you can see, means giraffe. Our zai is in the beginning of the word, and here our zai is actually in the middle of the word, right here before the alif. And this word means a deer or a gazelle. I think that's where the word gazelle comes from. It comes from the Arabic word ghazal, ghazal. And then we have something very important with our zai at the end of the word, and that is bread. Khubz, khubz. And finally, we have another very important food, bananas. And the word for that is mouse, mouse. So this meme actually has a fatha, the wow has a sukoon. In this case, the kha has a dhamma and the ba has a sukoon. All right? And these are your nouns containing the zay. So go ahead and practice till we see you in the next slide. Okay, everyone, here we have slide number 9. We're still talking about the zay, one of our gum letters, meaning letters that originate from the gum, And here we're going to practice writing out the nouns that we have learned. We've learned zarafa with the zay in the beginning of the word. This means giraffe. We've learned ghazal, the word for deer or gazelle, with the zay in the middle of the word. And then we've learned khubz. This is the word for bread with a zay at the end, and we've learned in the final position. And then we've learned the word mouse for banana with the zay in the independent position. Very good practice for you guys. The majority of the letter zay falls under the line. So if you just start, you start like a millimeter or so above the line, and then you just drop the rest of the zay under the line. Same thing for the ra, because they're from the same family. Okay, so that's a little hint for practicing your handwriting. And then we have some more nouns that we'll take now. This one is mizan, mizan. This is a scale, okay, that you use to weigh yourself. okay? With a long ya, me, and then a long zay, zen, mizan. And our next word here is for butter. As you can see from this lovely image of butter, zubda, zubda. Okay, try to repeat after me, practicing these words as well. And then here is the word for button. And this applies to the ordinary button on clothing, and it also refers to the button from technology like computers. And so this is in Arabic zir, zir. And there we have some nouns with the letter zay. Try to practice writing them, saying them, and memorizing them. Alhamdulillah. Okay, now we have come to slide number 10. And we're still talking about our letter zay. And we're going to look at some verbs. Up here, we've got some lovely images in accordance with our verbs. Our first one is yazhafu. Yazhafu. That means he is crawling. And in the complete sentence is yazhafu tiflu. Yazhafu tifl. You can say a tifl or a tiflu. Here is our baby crawling. The baby is crawling, or will crawl, or does crawl, however you like to put it, in the present or future. That's what this verb is for. Okay? So practice saying that. Our next one, yazra'u. Yazra'u. Yazra'u shajara. He is planting a tree. Yazra'u, he is planting. Shajara, a tree. Okay? Yazra'u shajara. The next one is ya'zifu. Ya'zifu al-musiqa. So we've seen the word musiqa before, music. And ya'zifu means he is playing. He is playing. And this always usually refers to an instrument. That he is playing an instrument. So he is playing music. He is playing music. And then let's practice a little bit of our short vowels and long vowels. We'll do short and then long, short and then long in order to see the difference. Here we'll start with the short vowel fatha. Za, za, zu, zu, zi, zi, zait, zar. Okay, in case you're wondering here, for the zait, the ya will have a sukoon on it. Okay, and when this has a fatha and the ya has a sukoon, makes the sound a. Zait. This is zar. Up here, zubda. We've already seen this noun for butter. Zubda. Yazul. Yazul. And then we've seen this as well. Zir. This is the word for button. Zir. Zina. Zina. Just a reminder that before the ta marbuta, the consonant must carry a fatha. And so that gives us a sound a at the end of the word. Okay, and za here is followed with a long ya. Z. Zina. And there we have it for our short vowels and long vowels and nouns and verbs with zay. We'll see you at the next slide. Okay, now we are on slide number 11. We have here the letter ra. Ra is one of the 5 letters of our huruf lathawiyya. It's one of the 5 of our gum letters that originate from the gums. And as we said before, this letter is originating from the front of the palate, right above the teeth, right above the back of the teeth. Okay, ra, ra, ra. Here we have ra written in full. Here we have a ra with short vowels. Ra, ru, ri. And now you can go ahead and practice reading these letters with the short vowels and writing them. We have Ra in the beginning position or independent position. This could be in any position. So it's the independent position, and this is Ra in the attached position. Could be in the middle of a word or the end of a word. Ra, Ru, Ri. So go ahead and print this out if you can and practice. If you can't, just write in a notebook. That's perfectly fine. Now let's look at some nouns containing Ra in different positions. Here we have Ra in the beginning of the word. Here it's in the middle, attached. Here it's at the end of the word, unattached. And here it's at the end of a word again, in the independent position. We start with Ruz. Ruz means, as you can see from the photo, rice. It's still one of the main staple dishes in the Arabic culture. Rice is very important and necessarily served if you have guests. And sometimes even if you don't have guests, it's just a staple to have on the table every day. Okay. And then we have here strawberries. Faraula. Faraula. And when the Arabs native speakers say it kind of fast, so they end up saying fraula. You know, that's how it sounds. So I'm just breaking it down for you. Faraula. Okay, we have a ra with the long vowel here. We have a ta marbuta at the end. Of course, the lam must have a fatha before the ta marbuta because that is how the ta marbuta works. In order to give us the sound, it must have a fatha before. And here we have carrots. The word for carrots is jazar. Jazar. Simple, easy. Okay. And then our word for train, qitar. Qitar. Try to repeat after me so you can get some practice with this. Okay, good luck with everyone, with everything. Practice your nouns, write them out, memorize them, and we'll see you in the next slide. Okay, everyone, now here we have slide number 12. We're still discussing the ra. This is one of our gum letters. It's our fourth letter of the gum, of the beginning of the palate towards the teeth. And we're still talking about the nouns over here that we learned in the previous slide. We'd like you to practice writing them, whether you do it on this slide printed out or whether you do it on a notebook is totally fine. We'll go through them one more time. Ruz means rice. Always try to repeat after me. Faraula, meaning strawberries. Jazar, meaning carrots. And qitar, qitar, meaning train. Okay, and now we have some more nouns containing the letter ra. We have riyada. Riyada here means sports, as you can see from these lovely images. Okay, we have a ta marbuta at the end, so of course the dad must have a fatha because that is how they work together. Da, riyada. And then we have this word rih. Rih. Rih means wind. This is the kind of wind when you are discussing the weather. Okay, as you can see in the image. And then we have arnab. Arnab, which means a super cute little rabbit or just rabbit. Okay, and then we have our final word, mirwaha. Mirwaha, meaning fan. And this can mean any kind of fan, fan on a ceiling, a table fan, a standing fan, a floor fan, any kind of fan. Very important for Jordan. That is where I used to live, and a fan is essential in the summertime. Okay, so please go ahead and practice reading these words and memorize them as well, and we'll see you in the next slide. Okay, everyone, here we are on slide number 13. We're still talking about the letter Ra, and now we're going to look at some verbs that contain the letter Ra. We have our first verb here, yarkudu bisur'a. Yarkudu. Try to repeat after me and listen carefully. This means he is running. يركض بسرعة. بسرعة means fast. So he's running fast. Now technically, this is two words here. The bi means with, and sur'a means speed. But instead of saying he's running with speed, we'll say in idiomatic English, he is running fast. Okay, next one. يركل. يركل الكرة. يركل means he is kicking. He is kicking, will kick, does kick. Any kind of present or future tense will do for any of these verbs. يركل الكرة. He is kicking the ball. الكرة, the ball. And here we have, as you can see in our lovely images, which match so perfectly with all of our phrases. يركب. يركب الحافلة. He is riding the bus. And putting it together, يركب الحافلة. يركب الحافلة. So these are good phrases to memorize. They're very, often used phrases, very common usage. So it'll be very practical if you can memorize these and practice saying them, and inshallah writing them as well. Okay, now we have some short vowels and long vowels. Let's go through them one by one so we can hear the difference. Ra, ra, ru, ru, ri, ri. Okay, try to repeat them after me. Read them as well yourself. Then we have our next section here. Kura, farawla, or farawila. So this is long. The ra alif is long. Farawila. But here, the ra just has a fatha, so it's short. Kura. Here we have a short vowel. Ruz. Ruz. And we saw before this means rice. We saw before this means ball. This means strawberries. Ruz. Okay, this is totally different, has a long vowel. Ruz. And of course, none of them attach to each other because a wow cannot attach to what's after it, and a ra cannot attach to what's after it. And then we have rih. Rih. And then we have the word down here that we know for wind. Rih. Rih. So hopefully you can hear that throat letter, that ha at the end. It actually can be quite loud, so I'm pretty sure it's coming out pretty well over the microphone. So give it a practice, read them, say them, and of course, memorize the vocab. See you.